going on, Commanders? Welcome into Arcfall for the Q Continuum, November 2024. I'm UltimatDJz, and I am excited to bring you this Arcfall video for Star Trek Fleet Command, November 2024. Beck shared some of the information over the weekend regarding the independent archives, and we're going to have much more on that very shortly. But first, as always, let's queue up the officers. See what I did there? This month's officers are all a new synergy group called the Interceptor Retaliation Squad, and they're all Q. First up, a rare Mariachi Q officer card, no captain's maneuver. His officer ability is increasing isolated cascade against players for 3 rounds if on a ship with morale. This ability triggers at round start if you do have morale, and it will stack. He starts at 50% at Tier 1, hops up to 95% at Tier 3, 120% at Tier 5. His below deck ability is also, of course, PvP, but this time triggering an increase in Apex Barrier if your opponent is burning. This starts at 7,000 and increases as you progress through rank 5. Going to 8K at Tier 2, 10,000 Apex Barrier at Tier 3, 12,000 at Tier 4, and finally 15,000 at Tier 5. Some notable numbers there when we're talking Apex Barrier. More on that as a refresher coming up in a moment. Next up is French Marshal Q, having no captain's maneuver again, and an officer ability of increasing weapon shots against your player target if you have morale by 25% at Tier 1, 30% at Tier 2, 35% at Tier 3, 40% at 4, and finally 50% at max. I am going to have to actually map this thing out. I'm going to have to take a look at a chart with Jules Verne, but this actually kind of strangely reminds me of Weyoun as far as his shot bonus, and I'm kind of wondering if 5% is actually going to have a whole lot of significant impact on a lot of ships if they only have a couple of shots per weapon. So we're going to have to take a look at that and see. But this one may be jury out on whether or not he's actually going to be worth tearing up. His below deck ability, though, is when in PvP against a player who has any state, he will repair 5% of your hull damage lost during the previous round of combat. Now, this is an ability that we're seeing more and more in the game, but at 5% doesn't really feel that big. But he does scale on. 7% at 2, 10% at Tier 3. Then starting to come into kind of a significant play here, 14% at Tier 4, and finally ramping up to something that seems to be relatively usable, 20% at Tier 5. That is hull restore on the damage taken in the previous round of combat, so not too awful bad. Your epic this month is obviously Starfleet Q, and following suit, being a PvP officer for explorers, his captain's maneuver is much like a strike team officer, in that he offers 40% chance at morale and for one round against players, with big synergy of 30% per side, getting to a 100% chance. His officer ability will scale by tier as per normal. If you have morale and if you're fighting an interceptor player, then it will increase your Apex Barrier by 10,000 at Tier 1. Remember the math on Apex Barrier. 10,000 Apex Barrier basically reduces the amount of damage that you would have taken by half. At Tier 2, he bumps to 12,000. 14,000 at Tier 3, 15,000 at Tier 4, and 16,000 at max, making this officer more valuable as you tier him, but most impactful right out of the gate. Long story short, we have more Q-Jitsu. See what I got all kinds of jokes today. Or at least that's what Scopely is hoping for. We shall see what this does to the existing strike teams, and most notably Freeman and the Mirror Universe officers. Now, let's get into the independent archives. This is actually a very cool feature that is going to help some of us cut down on a loop or two up front, and other loops will be added in the future. The first thing to note is the building itself. It has building buffs, as mentioned, that center around building cost efficiency, chaos tech efficiencies, which we'll talk more about soon, and the daily drip to work through the mastery tiers. Each day, you'll receive archive data shards, which will accumulate and allow you to unlock tiers of the mastery ladder. There are prerequisites on that ladder, such as ship tier and archive building level, and once you've met those, you spend the archive data shards to unlock that tier. When you do, you're going to get bonuses pertaining to that loop that make that loop a little bit better. Let's take a look, for example, here at the Monavine loop and see that at each tier, you're going to see certain buffs, almost like a syndicate tree, that continues to grow and assist with the loop until you reach the top tier, which is Mastery. Here's the fun part. When you unlock Mastery, you get to click a daily claim button. Here, for example, is what shows up for my Ops 62, on a Tier 12 Monavine. Guys, look at that right there. That's triple refines of all 3 bundles, which I obviously could not do before, as in this pays me beyond what Tier 12 would have paid me in the refinery. But not only does it pay me more, it reduces my clicks, because when I come back into the Monavine refinery, ta-da! There is nothing there. It's gone. No more clicky. Oh, finally. This mastery currently exists for Monavine, the Vidar Talios, the original Vidar Voyager, and the Botany Bay. Hey, you never know. If you don't have to click stuff anymore, then why not get a few extra officer shards out of that Botany Bay? You never know. That one, as a matter of fact, is going to be completely free to players right up front. 1 click. I love it. And when you get more than 1 mastered, you're still going to be able to click just once, because if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, there will be a single claim all button for all of the mastery ladders. For the Vidar and Tally ones, the negative rep was removed, so only positive rep will come from mastery, and all the independent credits, directives, faction credits, and yes, even double rolls from the Borg expansion cube chest every day, vastly improving the sourcing on the newest Borg officers, making Assimilate and the Borg Queen ever more useful. Now, let's talk a little bit about Chaos Tech. The best description of this is more forbidden tech, but in a new slot. New currency for this tech will be introduced, but it will be separate from Q's trials and will not involve chance. Just when you have the upgrade materials, you can do it. And there's no chance for failure. The best way to describe Chaos Tech is like that of gear in other styles of games. Forbidden Tech may be, say, the chest piece, and now the Chaos Tech will be the helmet. And we could see other forms of tech that will come over time to form more and more combinations of gear that can result in a unique battle experience. Some of these complement other Forbidden Techs and should be considered when matching them up with the other technologies. They have their own slot and do not interfere with the Forbidden Tech slot, but will follow the same principles as Forbidden Tech, as in there's 1 per ship and only 1 on that ship, and it costs to remove it, etc., etc. Chaos Tech will be earned and upgradable through a new Chaos Tech refinery, which does come from hitting a new hostel. However, the number of hostels you need are very, very few, as these hostels pack a significantly harder punch than almost anything else in the game, but they drop lots of loot. Even On-Call Doc was impressed with how stout these things are and are not to be underestimated. However, just a handful of hostels should actually do it, as the major loot gain is in the loot chest, not the hostel. So Loot Crew is absolutely not recommended. All of these new hostels are found in New Space West of Federation G4 Space. This month, you'll see the introduction of Q's Cannon, is a Chaos Tech, of course, centered around PvP. A temporal conduit, which is primarily focused around fighting Xindi hostiles, an electromagnetic loot focused around Texas-class hostiles, and the Thoughtmaker, focused on hostile grind and loot gain. The Loot Chaos Tech will be provided on Milestone 2 of the Elite track of the Battle Pass in its entirety, and you can work on leveling that with the other materials in the Battle Pass if you like. One kind of cool quality of life thing that I like very much is a new introduction of a smart speed up button. This is available on tiering up, ship repairs, research, and building timers. 2 clicks instead of multiple. And not only will it calculate my speed ups down to the 5-minute timer, but it will also make use of the least number of speed ups, starting with the largest and working down. And upon clicking it, it will tell you which ones it's going to use. I kind of like this, and will save time in PvP and build blitzes. There will be 2 new primes this month. The first in the mirror tree, called Prime Omega Liquid Omega Refinery, doubling the amount of liquid trellium you get and reducing its cost. This primarily, at least for now, has its most significant need if you are wanting to work on these other primes, but I wouldn't be surprised if other options eventually work their way into this bundle. But if you do need more Omega Trillium, then this could be a prime for you. Though right now, I don't see a significant need for it given that you already have your choice of 5 select bundles, so be on the lookout for added bundles over time. The second prime is right up from the Galaxy tree called Prime Terran Arena Claim, and this will increase the number of common and uncommon arena credits by 50%. The Battle Pass this month is also going to get a fresh new look and is incorporating kind of a Dabo wheel style mechanic this month with no limits on your choice of resource and material. As in, if you take a look at the Battle Pass on your screen, you'll see these tokens called Q Continuum Engagement Tokens, and you will earn these all throughout the Battle Pass. This is in place of traditional materials and resources. Then when you go to the event store, you can spend them on whatever material and resource you want. Watch carefully though, there are no limits, but there are benefits to spending your tokens in bulk. Last thing I can kind of think of for this month is the new Golden Vindicator skin, which not only looks kind of cool, but will add Vial and Beer to the Vindicator Officer bundle and increase the number of rolls by 1. So that's significantly stronger payout and adds 2 officers in a Prime style skin. So there you go. That's November in a nutshell. We have all the data on Chaos Tech. We've got a ton of data on the Independent Archive to share with you later this evening, with Jules Verne having all of the charts and the fun stuff for us to share with you all. In the meantime, share with your team, sub to our channel, join the Discord, consider joining our YouTube membership if this kind of content actually helps you out, and know that you have our gratitude for consuming our content. I'm UltimatDJz, your friendly neighborhood cat person, and this has been a presentation of Teaching Trek. Click on the bell for more content as it drops this month and give us lots of likes. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much, and we'll catch ya a little bit later on today. Meow!